What's going on, everyone? So, the Brooklyn Nets and Cam Thomas are trying to work out on a situation that is beneficial for both sides. There's kind of been a lot of buzz about Cam Thomas recently about how, he's kind of, that vacuum scorer, right? He's not the player that people try to make him out to be. Cam Thomas even responded to a lot of the noise about how he doesn't pass and he's not known as this playmaker and he's very limited and whatnot. And look, he's an incredible talent. Is he, the ideal kind of starting guy that's going to come in and, be a two-way guy? Probably not, right? Defensively, not really a great defender. Guy that can score with the best of them, though, right? He is probably best in that like kind of Lou Williams type role, just a bucket getter off the bench, then go get you 20 a night. You're missing a guy, he can come in, slot in, and provide some offense. Those nights where he's just going crazy, you let him play the role. You let him kind of just be him. Right? I think he needs to go to a situation that allows him to be himself. I mean, you look at last year, he averaged 24 points, 3.5 rebounds, and 4 assists. Right? He's a guy that, he's not 6'6", or he's 6'3", 210 pounds. So, he is like a two guard. He is a scoring guard. But the Brooklyn Nets, based on recent reports, have offered Cam Thomas 2 years, $14 million a year, so $28 million total, and a team option for the second year. And kind of, if you're Cam Thomas, can't be super thrilled with that. You got to be kind of looking at that as a bit of an insult. Now, I'm not saying he's worth 30, 40 million or anything like that. Like I said, he's probably best in that sixth man role. Guy that could just be, win multiple 6 men of the year type thing, just be a bucket getter off the bench. Every team in the league could use him. But realistically, he's probably in that 18 to maybe 22 million range, probably closer to 18 with the new CBA. If this was like pre-CBA, probably be in that $20 million range. But I think just given what he's best at, just being kind of that bucket getter. If you're looking for him to be this defensive stopper or anything like that, then you're probably going to be a little disappointed. But he is a guy that, again, can really be a offensive anchor for a team and be an engine all on his own on many nights. So if I'm the Lakers, Rob Pelinka, call up your buddy, right? Him and Sean Marks have a good relationship. Cam Thomas, I'm Cam Thomas. If I'm going to make $14 million a year or $15 million a year, something like that, wouldn't it be better to go to a team like the Lakers? If I'm the Lakers, right, do I sign him to that 2-year deal? Right, they can't sign him outright. It'd have to be a sign and trade. But do I go, call Luka. Here's my thoughts, right? Call Luka. Luka, call Cam Thomas. Luka gets on the phone with Cam Thomas. Hey, tell them you want to be signed and traded to Lakers. And then if I'm the Lakers, maybe you offer $18 million, right? 2 years, $18 million a year with a team option. It's $4 million more a year than what the Nets are willing to sign. So that way you maintain that flexibility for 2027. If it doesn't work out, you can just cut them because you have the team option, just like Brooklyn. Do you come in and offer a similar deal, but on a team option? I'd even be willing to trade a Dalton Connect for a Cam Thomas. Do you maybe do something where you're doing, problem is you'd have to send out 18 million. I wouldn't want to trade Rui or anything like that in that deal, right? So if you could do 15 million, right? Do something like that. I also wouldn't hate, if you could do a consolidation trade, because the Nets, right? They have salary space. They have opportunity there, right? So could you maybe even work something out to where you clear a roster spot and clear off a couple million off your books, right? Because the problem is if you trade Rui, you got to replace him. But could you maybe do something like Gabe Vincent, Maxi Kleber, and Dalton Connect and pay Cam Thomas, say, $18 million a year with that team option so you can get out of that contract, right? So now it's $18 million. You're sending out $25 million. You clear $7 million off your books, right? Maybe you're giving them Dalton Connect a second and a pick swap or something, right? I wouldn't hate that idea if you could do something like that. And the Nets might do it because they're getting something. They're getting a young guy in, they're almost the same age. Cam Thomas will be 24 in October before the season starts. So you're getting a guy basically the same age in Dalton Connect that can be a shooter that you can build around that's cheap for the next few years. You also maintain your cap flexibility, right? So it could be a win-win, right? Instead of losing Cam Thomas for nothing, maybe Lakers can do something where it's like you're turning a Dalton Connect and 2 pick swaps plus a second, and you're landing Cam Thomas, but you're also clearing off salary space, clearing off a roster spot or 2 if you can do Connect and with a Maxi Kleber and a Gabe Vincent. You don't really need Gabe Vincent now that you got Marcus Smart. So you got Marcus Smart at your point, Cam Thomas at your 2, and like a backup role. I don't hate it. Right? If you're the Lakers, can you work something like that out? Like, that would be fantastic. Have Cam, you want to talk about solving your bench scoring issues, Cam Thomas could solve those issues. Right? The problem would be like the potential log jam between him, Luka, and Austin Reeves. But if the Lakers do entertain or consider trading Austin Reeves at some point, having Cam Thomas would be very beneficial, right? Because you probably want a more point of attack 3-and-D style 2. So not necessarily that bucket getter, right? Where Cam Thomas, again, when he's having those crazy nights and he's going off and he's giving you 30, right, and he just can't miss, then boom, you close with him. But if he's struggling and he's having those nights where, he's good but not great, then you just keep him on the bench to close games. Right? You can figure it out. You can work it out. I mean, Cam Thomas, like, Lakers bench scoring was awful. Right? And, Jake LaRavia, I think, will help in some ways. Marcus Smart, to an extent. I do think I do think the bench will be slightly better than it was last year, but I don't think they'll be one of the best benches. Cam Thomas could potentially make the Lakers one of the best benches. I don't expect him to average 24 a night coming off the bench, but I also wouldn't be shocked. I mean, because it really just comes down to the minutes and production that he gets, right? Like, it depends on how many minutes a night he's getting, right? You even look at last year, he played in 25 games, started in 23 of them, 31 minutes per game, 18.2 field goal attempts per game. He shot 35% from three-point range on 7.8 attempts, 2-point range, 10.4 attempts, shot 51%, EFG of 51.3%, free throw shooting. 6 attempts, got to the free throw line a lot. 6 attempts, 88.1%, grabbed 3.3 rebounds, 3.8 assists, a steal, half a block, and 24 points per game. Right? Like, that's good. It's really good. Right? And, like, I wouldn't mind, like, if the Lakers could do something where it's, maybe you're giving Cam Thomas, $15 million a year, right? Maybe give him $1 million more. Like, that's what I would try to do. I try to convince Brooklyn, like, hey, give us Cam Thomas, right? 2 years, $15 million player option. So same deal as Brooklyn, but we're giving you $1 million more the first year. Or maybe you're doing $17 million or something like that the first year. And then maybe the contract drops year 2, whatever. So, like, let's say if you can get it to, like, 15 million, somewhere in that range, and do like a Gabe Vincent and Dalton Connect, which is like just under 16 million, and maybe do something like that, clear enough salary to bring in a vet minimum guy, right? Because you're going to open up a Ross spot. You're going to need to bring a Ross spot in. I wouldn't hate something like that, right? Like, even if it's not like a big, like, hey, give him 18 million. Because again, if you keep the team option, right? If you keep the team option, then you're not locked in. Right? Like, you can always get off of him. You can always waive him. You can always trade him to another team that team could end up, getting off of him. Right? Like, it gives you the flexibility. I also wouldn't hate if he's willing to come, if you gave him a player option for year 2, right? And maybe work something out. Maybe give him more of a front end contract where, I don't know, maybe he's getting 20 million this year, but he's getting like 12 million next or something like that. Right? And so it's like 2 years, maybe it's 2 years, 35 million or whatever, 32 million, but it's kind of front loaded. So the Lakers could do something where, Gabe Vincent, because maybe Brooklyn's like, hey, we don't want to just like take on 7 million. It's like, okay, well, what do we need? We would need roughly like 4 million, 5 million, right? 4 million, let's say. So maybe you could do something where, because like I said, I don't want to trade Rui in that deal. I'd want to trade Gabe Vincent, Maxi Kleber, like those kind of guys. Get off of those guys to kind of bring in a guy, but you have to incentivize Brooklyn. Like Brooklyn's not just going to trade you Cam Thomas out of the kindness of their heart, right? So they're going to want something. So that's where I think you have Dalton Knecht operating as like the pick or the like, hey, you're not just losing Cam Thomas, you're getting a guy in the deal. And if you help us clear salary and you help us do all this stuff, then we'll give you, pick swaps in a second or something like that. And you kind of go that route. That's where I kind of look at it if I'm the Lakers, to where, everyone's kind of benefiting. They're not losing Cam Thomas for nothing, right? And then on top of that, they get a guy that, can still kind of fill some of that void. You can kind of spin the year and see what does Dalton Knecht really look like, right? Dalton Knecht, I do think if he goes to a team now, because I think his confidence is just shot, right? So I think if you can go to a team like Brooklyn, he might start to build that confidence back up. You can kind of gauge him and see him, and you don't have to pay him, right, for a couple years. So it kind of gives you time to evaluate that or ship them out elsewhere later on or whatever, however you want to approach it. But then you're also maintaining the cap flexibility, which the Lakers provide you. So you're getting off the salary, which is what you want, why they're giving the team option to Cam Thomas. I just think it's a win-win for everybody. Lakers get that scoring bucket getter off the bench. Brooklyn gets some assets and maintains the cap flexibility that they're looking for. Boom, win-win for everybody. But let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. So we enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button, turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.